Thanks for tuning in to the Pre-Patch Podcast. Check out these patch notes.
What is this? So first off, what is this? It's called Death Must Die. Is that the name of the game?
Yeah, so Death Must Die. It's a game that I found on the Steam, whatever it was, the Next Fest, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Where it's like the demos and all that stuff.
Yeah,
This
Next
is
Fest.
this is one of the more popular ones that was on the Next Fest. I was interested in it because it looked really. I honestly thought that it was going to be a Diablo contender, or not contender, but like replacement, just to be able to like have something else to kind of play while I wasn't playing Diablo 4. But
How dare you, sir?
I'm genuinely impressed with it. So this is a top-down isometric. I kind of touted it as like Diablo meets Hades meets Vampire Survivors, right? And the reason why I say that is because it has kind of a Diablo feel whenever you're in the actual levels. So you're kind of moving around. It's the WASD movement. It doesn't have the Vampire Survivor feel to it, where like you're not necessarily the one that's like doing the abilities or sending the abilities out. You actually have to click where you want your abilities to go. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's how Vampire Survivors was. Yes, like it just
No,
kind of picked a direction.
it's based on where your mouse your cursor is, so it's not based.
But it
You don't click it.
but Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But it clicked. It did the attacks for you. This one
Yeah,
is
it's
not like
auto.
that. This one, you actually are the one doing the attacks. So you can kind of choose your timing, choose where you where you want things to go, etc., etc. The reason why I say Vampire Survivors is as you're seeing right here, they have the different like modifiers and the different abilities.
Yeah.
I think with that one that I just picked, I picked an extra attack. So I instead of one fireball, I have two fireballs, right? And then the other reason why I say Hades is because the movements and like the dodging, that you actually have like a dodge and a dash, and you have like modifiers for the dodge and the dash. But also at the same time, as you saw right there, Crom, the god of conquest, comes in, and he's the one offering you powers, which that's where I kind of got the Hades from, right? You meet a ton of different gods. You meet Crom, you meet I can't remember the other one. I think it was Hestia or Hesperus or something like that. Pesticide or whatever.
Specified.
Sounds like something I need to get removed from my ceiling.
pretty much, yeah. You
Make sure
meet
you
the
check your
the
walls for
goddess,
pesticide.
the daughter of the god of death. I think her name was Crom, or not Crom. I can't remember her name. But yeah, you get boons from different gods and everything like that. They only had one level, which I was kind of a little disappointed in, because the level was hard, but it wasn't challenging, right? Like after like two or three runs, I was able to beat it with pretty decent regularity, right? And I'm personally impressed with it, considering the fact that I don't really play a ton of like Vampire Survivor esque games. That's
Yeah, I
more
was
kind
actually
of
kind of
your
shocked.
wheelhouse.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked that you were playing this. Like this just doesn't seem like your
Yeah.
fancy at all.
No, it's really good, man. Like I said, like when I was playing it, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, dude, Sin's gonna love this. Like it's right up his alley. He loves Diablo. He loves Vampire Survivors, and he absolutely fucking loves Hades, right?
Yeah.
So like that kind of a combination is great. I will say it has necromancy, and it's good. The necromancy is actually decent. It's not Diablo 4 necromancy. I can tell you that for a goddamn fact, right? Uh, it's the more amount, or like the more things that you kill, after a certain point, you like killing. I think it's like 10 kills, and you spawn a skeleton of your own, and then they have a time limit, and you can get like modifiers given to you from that daughter of death to extend the time limit. One of my runs, I think I had like 45 to 50 seconds worth of summons, and I was playing this character, and I had attack speed going. I had damage area amplification. I had, I think, projectile speed. And then there's the necromancy right there, and you can see I was excited. I was like, "Oh, this it is! It's right there!" Right. But like that run was extremely fun for me, because like I had a shit ton of summons. right? Like I think at any given time I had like 20 or 30 summons on the screen after like a full like clump or whatever you want to call it, a full mob of enemies, right? And they lasted for an extremely long time. The, the only thing that I can complain about is the fact that like your summons look very very similar to the enemies. So like I'd be moving back and then I'd be wasting time trying to shoot my own
Panic.
skeletons. Yeah. So it's good, man. Like
And
it's
not
free right
not
now.
yeah,
You can check it out.
it's a demo, right? It's not
It's a
full
demo right
release.
now. It's not out right now. No, I don't think they have a release date. It's being developed by 3 guys. Basically they say, hey, we're 3 guys that are developing this in our basement, essentially. Spending every waking moment of time trying to make this the best game that we can possibly make it. I think they got a good contender, man. Like this, again, like I said, I don't really play these Vampire Survivor games all that much. I've tried them in the past. I've enjoyed them in the past. I do like Vampire Survivors. I have it on my phone, and I've played it a couple different times. But this feels more intuitive and more like Diablo to me. It feels a lot more fluid than Vampire Survivors did, just because of the fact that you can like dash around, you can kind of move around a little bit more. Vampire Survivors is extremely slow. It's kind of, I'm sure that once you get up in like the abilities and like the movement speed and everything, you can kind of get a little bit faster. But to me, it just feels really clunky. But considering how cheap it is for one and how simple it is, that's not a bad thing.
I mean,
But I think this kind of does it better personally.
what I love about this, right, is that this one dude, this one guy
Yeah.
created this fucking genre of a game.
Create an entire genre, man.
That
and it's
now
blown
it's just
up.
like it literally is just and like so many people are like kudos on him. And and now it's going to the Switch, right? Like
Yeah.
kudos on that guy. That guy made a very simple game. And I remember Enigma when we found it, we were like, what
Yeah.
what is this, man? What is
I was
this?
when we found Vampire Survivors, I was literally like, dude, I could make this in HTML. Like
And
that's
the guy,
that's how
it
simple
has
this is.
changed his life. Like it has changed that dude's life. So congrats on him. And
Yeah.
I think that again, I think this is an untapped area. I think there's still a lot of room to do a lot of cool things with it. And I'm happy to see, people out there, this because this just shows like this. You don't have to have all of this overarching bullshit.
Doesn't have to be
right?
flashy.
Right,
Yeah,
like-
it doesn't have to be huge and flashy.
we-
It doesn't have to be the next God of War.
We went
You
through
know?
this time frame where like everything had to just be so convoluted and fucking crazy. Where like now it's just like cool. Like no, we can be simple, but like have a very good basis.
I think it, and I think it kind of harkens back to the fact that like there are a lot of gamers out there that do like you look at like World of Warcraft vanilla, right? A lot of people wanted vanilla. They wanted to go back to like a simpler time. They wanted to feel kind of that nostalgia again, right? So
Yeah.
It's very apparent that people can enjoy and do enjoy simpler games still. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Cool.
it's great, man. It's so far there's 2 different, I haven't unlocked anything else, so I'm not entirely sure if they have any other characters that you can unlock. There's 2 different characters that I've played so far. There's this one, which is like the mage, and then there's a like a knight with a shield and a sword. So
I
I
hope they-
personally I gravitated more towards the mage, obviously, but the knight felt really good too. Like I'm not saying that like the melee did feel really good.
I mean, I hope they do kind of, and that's one of the things that I think is intriguing about Vampire Survivors is because there is so much hidden behind what you don't know, and like you kind of
Yeah.
And they figure, I hope they do that. I think that's a very cool system to just be like, hey, figure it out, right? Go unlock some, like,
For
oh
sure.
shit, I found out a way to unlock this other character that I didn't know existed.
Yeah. And they've got different like ability builds that you can get. That's one of the biggest things that I like about this one over like I guess it has it in Vampire Survivors as well, where like the different combinations you can start kind of building builds a little
I
bit more.
really think that you would like Soulstone Survivors if you actually played it.
I
because
probably would, honestly.
has-
That was one that I was looking at possibly purchasing in the near future.
it's
for
very
sure.
much the same. The dashing, the builds, like there's a lot of unlockables. It's I think you'd like it. I think you
Yeah.
should give it a shot
Yeah.
for sure.
I might honestly, with especially with me enjoying this one. It's definitely, this is one that I have it on my radar. So it's again, it's Death Must Die. It's made by Realm Archive, I believe. Let me check that just to make sure. Cover for me, please.
Yeah, Death Must Die. I don't know. I love the art. I do like the art style too. I like that it's a. It gives me that Hades vibe.
Yeah, it gives you the Hades vibe and everything like that. It is made by Realm Archive, published and developed by Realm Archive. So go and check it out. Like legitimately, go and check it out. They don't have a planned announcement as of yet for early access. But they do say that it is coming in early access. Let's see what some of the features are. What's the current state of early access? 3 different character types, 6 gods, 10 plus skills, 1 final boss, which kind of sucks. I'm really hoping that if they do come into early access, they push a little bit more content into it. Because like I said, again, it might have just been
technically. I mean, Vampire Survivors only has 1 boss. It's death.
Do
that's
they?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they have is death. You just have to see if you can survive it.
Yeah, because like this one right here, the final boss that I went up against, I believe the name was like Leonidas Archers or something like that, Leo something Archers, which they were a pain in the goddamn ass, dude. Like they were so rough because they're not on screen. There's only one of them ever on screen. Oh, I mean, there's a couple of them different ones on screen, but they kind of teleport away from you, right? And like the final boss, like they'll just shoot red arrows at you from off screen and you have to dodge them, but there's like 6 of them coming at you from 3 different directions while you're also trying to damage the one that's in front of you, right? So it's extremely it's not easy. Like the last boss is definitely not easy. I finished it I think with 4 attempts, 3 or 4 attempts, and I finally finished it with this build I think that I'm going right now, which was the Necromancer kind of fireball build that I was going with. So
Nice.
but it's good, man. Like go and check it out. Like I said, demo right now. You can literally go and play it while we're doing the podcast if it looks like something that you'd enjoy. So
There you go.
Thanks again for checking out the Patch Notes, part of the Pre-Patch Podcast, which we do live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Or you can check us out on anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast or any place that podcasts are listened to. Thanks again. Much love.